Somewhere on the internet, a writer asked, I'm writing a fantasy novel, my characters are in the woods, and I need time to pass before they get to the place they're actually going, but it's boring. How many times can I describe their surroundings? I'm not sure what to make happen to fill pages, and I'm bored. I always get a little freaked out when a writer starts using the word fill when they're talking about the story they're writing. My eyelids start twitching. In fact, I am a no filler, all killer kind of writing. And so I need a story and need a rescue. So let's start with some diagnostic questions. Why are your characters in that setting? By that I mean, answer that straight off. I'm going to guess that these characters are in the woods because they have to travel to the woods in order to get to another destination, like the big city. Where there are a lot of story events waiting for them. And because you're aware that less modern forms of travel take far longer than using planes, trains, and automobiles, that the travel time has to take up page time for the sake of realism. But the truth is you're bored because nothing is happening. Here's a piece of advice you can take with you to every story you write. On the page, time is elastic. You can take many pages to tell what happened in a single minute, and you can skip over millennia with a scene break. You're in total control over time in this one instance. Now, on to some practical questions to help you figure out what to do when you're stuck in a setting that's going nowhere. Ask yourself, what has to happen to the characters in that setting that is important? Let me rephrase. Do any of those events reflect any of the story's external plots or any of the characters' personal emotional journeys? What gifts and what problems are present in this particular landscape that are not anywhere else? What character-defining choices have to happen as a result of being in this setting? To put it simply and generally, what experiences have to happen in this setting and nowhere else in the story? How does the stuff that happens in this setting or the setting itself interact with your story's theme? Are you writing those down? You can back up and write them down. Let's say we're walking across the woods to the capital, where all the trade guilds have their main headquarters, and the characters are going because they want to trade raw goods to the guilds for money. And this is a first act opening pages kind of a reason rather than a middle of the story reason or even an end of the story reason. I can talk about those in more depth in another video. But while they're on a journey through the woods, they need to have experiences that actually mean something to the story and will matter later on in the plot and in their personal emotional arcs. This means you can't just roll on the plot event encounter table and write whatever comes up on the dice unless you figure out how to follow through on that later. Story writing often contains acts of symmetry. So if your characters are robbed by bandits and all of their goods are stolen and that line gets dropped and nothing about the story about that robbery matters to the story or to the character's emotional journey, it's empty. But it doesn't have to be and shouldn't only be about external events the characters have to react to. Maybe one of the characters needs this space they're traveling through in order to do something that they couldn't do back home or can't do once they reach their destination. This would be as simple as singing. If the song is forbidden in one place or the other, or like maybe they want to confess their most secret wants. So if you have a portion of your story that involves the work of traveling through a particular setting, look at your point form list of events and experiences that can only happen in this setting between places and that shape your story and examine them. What are these incidents and moments about? What meaning do they have? How many of these experiences can happen simultaneously in the same plot point? Think about it in layers. So while the characters are trudging across the endless forest to get to the next setting, consider, why are they there? They need to get to the destination they're going to. They don't have the means to travel in a different way, or they are traveling in this way to escape detection. They're delivering something en route. Someone in the group needs a journey to be done in this way, in this place, to fulfill their own agenda, which might be secret. Or say someone in this group needs to see this setting in order to learn something that might help them overcome their flawed self from the beginning of the story. reasons like that are the only reasons to prolong staying in a setting characters are traveling through. And as soon as you run out of reasons like that, it's time to let them be in the next setting. You don't have any reasons like that. Take all those pages that bored you, select the text, cut it, and copy them to a cut file. Just delete them right out of the manuscript and write this. 18 days later, they made it to the next setting. And now you're free. Let the story get on with it. Keep your pen on the page, stay chilly, go write.